I often talk about the white crane system and the importance of foundation training, of understanding what we're doing within the first 3 years of our practice, what we're doing with the Zhan, and how we're using the Zhan and the other exercises within the white crane system to help open up the body and develop it so we can move on to the intermediate practices and then later on the advanced practices. Today I'm going to explain what I do when a student has done that foundation training and is now ready to move on to the intermediate practice. This needs to be systematic, and it just can't be willy-nilly, do this, do that, this exercise, that exercise. There needs to be a progression through the system correctly. So just a recap on the foundation training, what the foundation training is getting us to do is trying to build a body that's ready for the white crane system, is ready to be able to create the different kinds of power that the white crane system teaches. So the foundation training is about first opening up the body, making sure there's no holding, the joints are open, the muscles are flexible and released, and then we're also working on through the Zhan form to develop the lines that carry power, the elastic lines that run through the body that carry power. And while we're working the Zhan form, we're working these stretches, these opening movements to create this power. In addition to creating these lines, what we're doing is we're developing the white crane body, which is a body that is very strong in the center, in the core, but floaty and light on the extremities, right? And our system having influence of Taizu Chuan, which is the grand ancestor fist, Emperor Taizu Chuan, we have even more of that solid, strong posture and core. So if you see the movements, we're always sending power down through these triangle shapes, down into the center. Right, we're coming down, sinking, and then we're sinking down into the lower body to create pressure and fullness, giving freedom up here, but very strong core where we can create power. After this body's developed, which should take about 3 years through the Zhan forms and through the other supplementary exercises, we want to start now connecting these lines up that we've created in the body to the Dan Tian. And I don't mean the energetic Dan Tian, which is something that comes later and is more useful in Qi Gong work and energetic cultivation work, but I'm talking about the white crane martial Dan Tian, which is all of this area, so from the diaphragm down here, all the way to the back. We need to be able to connect all of these lines through the body into this area. And we have a number of different specific exercises that students start to do to be able to develop these connections. One of the first exercises is an exercise called dog shaking water off its back, and it looks like this. It's a very tiring exercise. As you can see, I'm a little bit out of breath. What that's doing is I'm stretching out the lines that I've created in the foundation training, and I'm then connecting that down to the Dan Tian. When a beginner starts doing this, you see, it doesn't work, it doesn't come to the correct place. They don't have this ability to vibrate quite fast around here. But then over time, with practice like everything, the lines that you've already created just connect, because the body likes to become efficient. So it starts to efficiently transmit power, and the vibrations become more and more subtle. And then when a student can do that, then we move on to doing that with a big heavy stick. So it's the same idea with this. I make sure I'm sunk, center strong, and then I just shake out to the tip of the stick. This is a very efficient way to connect up the center through the lines of the body up to the tip of this staff. At the same time, the student starts learning their first staff form, and before they even start learning the form, they're doing exercises with this that help, again, connect up the Dan Tian to the tip of the staff. This is less yielding, so it's quite difficult to slam down and get that power to the tip. And this also, while developing these connections, it toughens up the joints in the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, because every time you slam down, there's a opposite force that comes straight back up your body, and your joints need to deal with that, and they will hyperextend and they will become inflamed at the start, but then they become really strong and elastic to be able to deal with this force coming back up through the body. So this is the kind of practices we move on to after the foundation is in place, after the body's transformed to an extent and the lines are starting to work in the body. And then now, martially speaking, if you're there, able to, with minimal movement, bring power into a tip of an unyielding wooden staff, imagine what power you can create as you contact someone and put that power and spring into their body, into their joints. You know, all of these small movements like this are all joint breaks. These are all expelling movements coming out. And the white crane system is really famous for this expelling of power. But again, this is just at intermediate level. Later on, the movement becomes more and more subtle, and we start to move from needing to do quite big, large, springy movements to actually becoming shorter and just expelling power on contact as we touch. So somebody touches you and they just expel themselves because your body is, you know, the lines are so well refined that any impact or contact that comes into your body just gets channeled down those elastic lines and it just bounces the opponent off. Or depending on what kind of power you want to use, you can sink them down, you can crush a bone, you can enter the power into their body. Yeah, it's endless. Yeah, I think that's it. I hope that's helpful. Yeah, as usual, let me know if it was, if it wasn't, and yeah, enjoy.